Everybody, this is me, Laura. I am doing a really quick snapshot here of the new moon in Virgo that is going to happen on Saturday, the 27th. And I'm showing here, this is the chart for San Pedro, which would be like Los Angeles, the South Bay, and so forth. And um, it's gonna be a brand new. It's a new moon of new beginnings in Virgo. You know, Virgo. What is Virgo? Virgo rules health, being of service. It rules protection. It rules animals. Um, it rules pretty much. Being of service to people and helping others in the community. With our neighbors and so forth. And um, it's 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 a brand new moon. I don't see any problems with it, actually, to tell you the truth. I don't see a lot of squares happening with um, the new moon. There is some squares here, but it has nothing to do with the new moon. um, I do see that there is a challenge with Mars in Gemini, um, in the 12th house of secrets, hidden hidden aspects. It could be like the occult. It could be incarcerations. It could be mental institutions. Um, it can rule pretty much health as well. It rules endings as well. Um, and so the new moon in Virgo at 4 degrees of ancestors. 4 degrees is a degree of Cancer, so it would be families, babies, ancestors, real estate. That's where the new moon in Virgo lands. So there's something about a new beginning with families. There's a new beginning with families. There's a new beginning with children. There's a new beginning with real estate. And it's landing in the third house of communication. So we're going to be very communicative, when it comes to this new beginning. Like I said, it's not really a chart of like, oh my God, there's a lot of drama going on. I don't see a lot of drama going on with this new moon. It's quite different. It's quite, I'm not going to say blah. um, I'm not going to say blah, but it's kind of close to blah. Like, there's not really much to really say about it. Like, besides, it's going to be in in the third house of communication for us here, um, in the South Bay in California. Um, and I think it might be the same thing in New York. I'm not too sure, but I'm just checking for Los Angeles. But here is in the third house, and so it is about communication. It is about transportation. It is about local travel. It is about bloggers and social media and what we have to talk about. Um, and so, like I said, Virgo, has to do with being of service. What are we communicating, right, in Virgo? What are we communicating? Brand new beginnings with Virgo, right? It might be some people may move to a new location, closer where their ancestors live, or closer where their children live, or there might be some children that might, or some college students that might move in with their parents. It might be some communication about the community as well, of what's happening within the community. I know in our community in San Pedro, we have private groups, and we usually post what's going on in the community so everybody can be informed, and what's happening around, and how people are being generous and how they're not. you know. Um, it's so interesting because today I was in Facebook and I seen a post. I couldn't share it because it was only for the private group, and there was no way I could share it, like, into my page. If not, I would have shared it, but it didn't matter. It was, I mean, it mattered in our community, but if it's not shareable, it's okay. Um, but I had a comment on there to say, thank you for sharing, because it was about a story. It was about, not a story, but it was an actual situation that happened, where this lady, I think she was not too healthy. I don't know if she had diabetes or something like that. And she needed some sugar. And I think she was low in sugar or something, or she needs something that happens when, I think when you have diabetes, um, you need sugar or something. She needed some kind of sugar in her, and um, she forgot her money at home or something like that, and all she had was her purse, and you know, she was willing to pay ATM, with the ATM, but it looks like it was a fruit vendor, so one of those Mexican fruit vendors, and at Point Fermin, this local park, and she ran to him to see if he would be able to accept her ATM, and he was not accepting ATM. He was only accepting Zelle. So, Zelle or cash, and she didn't have that. And I think the fruit vendor seen that she was not well, she was not functioning well. So, he gave her a soda, a Coke, and he told her, "Here, have a Coke, for free. It's okay. Don't worry about it." And so she was grateful, and she said it saved her life. Had it not been for that Coke, that they would, she probably would have to call an ambulance or something like that to pick her up, because I think when you're diabetic, that happens. Like, you need sugar in you, and so, um, yeah, so she shared that story and how grateful she was, and then she returned back to the park, and she gave the wife, I think, like $20 or something, because that's all she had, and she just, she wanted to give her that money, and that was worth more than the soda. But because she felt grateful, because if it had not been for that free soda that she was given, then she would have ended up in the hospital. So it prevented her, and it was good because the fruit man was a good Samaritan, and he was a generous man, and we need generosity, because we don't really hear a lot of stories like that, especially right now with inflation, and everybody's trying to protect you know their work, or whatever it is that they're trying, ideas and everything else. You know, you just got to discern, you know what I mean, when you're giving too much, and when you need to hold back, you know. So it's just common sense, a lot of these decisions that people make. And I'm a generous person, but I have held back only for the fact that I feel I've been given too much. I've been giving too much, and giving, and I haven't really got the same back in return. So what happens is that when you don't get the same back in return, then you end up getting tired. You end up, you kind of sense like, what's all this that I'm giving and I'm not getting anything in return, right? But the fact of the matter is that you kind of like question your work, but it has nothing to do with your work, because if it did, then why would they be taking? You know what I mean? Because your work is really that good. Your idea is really that good, right? That's making them money. They're just takers. And because if it wasn't that good, they would not be taking it. You know what I mean? So it's just that a lot of people, they're used to taking and not giving back. Mm. So I was happy to hear that story of the fruit man, where he gave her a Coke, and she felt so much better, and she returned with $20 to give it to them, because they saved her life. And we don't really hear much stories like that. And I was happy to read that story, because I've had an opposite reaction of something in my community, and so something the totally opposite of that. So it kind of makes me happy that in other areas in San Pedro we're seeing something different. I also had shared about one of my neighbors, that she has a lemon tree, and she's an American lady, and she lives about 2 blocks away from where I live, and no, I would say maybe about 3 blocks, and she always gives out free lemons, and she bags them in little brown bags, and she has gigantic lemons that just fall off the tree, and she bags them and she puts them outside her fence, and she's told me plenty of times, she does this I think like once a month, or usually when she has a lot of them that are falling to the ground, and she tells me, pick, get a bag, grab a bag, tell your neighbors if they want big lemons, just come and get a bag. And sometimes she'll tell me, like grab 1 or 2 bags, like don't be shy, just take them, I have so many lemons and I don't know what to do with them, I can only do so much lemonade, and stuff like that. And it's cool because there's this humanitarian about them, and we know that God will bless our lives when we give. It's even biblical. Give and it shall be given to you. And I'm not trying to get all biblical or nothing, but you know what I mean, for those that don't believe, but it is biblical, and it does say there, for us that are believers, and we believe that when we help others, we get the same back in return. And it's not just biblical; it's the law of karma. It's the law of energy, of what you give comes back to you. And it's the same thing when we go shopping for items, for products and everything. We need to be able to spend money, right? Invest in order for it to come back. It's like a wave of a beach. It goes in and out, in and out, in and out. And so, if you're not spending money and you're not using money on products, how is money going to come into your life, right? So you have to be doing some sort of spending in order to get money back in return. You need to be supporting communities and supporting stores and so forth. And wow, I'm getting a lot of downloads right now. Oh my gosh, every time I'm doing like a a podcast or a video, speaking on astrology, I tend to get a lot of downloads. Especially right now because I have Uranus on my ascendant in Taurus. So right now it's like the way it is for me right now, because it's right on my ascendant. Uranus is a planet of shocks. Uranus is a planet of brilliance. Uranus is a planet of, oh my gosh, I can't believe that. Like, kind of like when you hit the lotto, for those that have hit the lotto, I've never hit the lotto, but for those that have hit the lotto, that excitement, that rush of like, I can't believe this just happened to me. Actually, I did win the lotto. Many years ago. I think is it gonna be 15? I think 15 or 17 years ago. I won the lotto to become a casual longshoreman, and I landed in there not having family or nothing like that. It was just through a postcard, and it was a lottery. And I didn't think I was gonna get chosen. And I did. All of my family members, they put in cards, and they were not interest cards; they were regular postcards, and I was the one that got chosen. So it was like I hit the lotto, Um, at that time, today, now that I think about it, it's like it's not really a big deal. Um, I don't know. I guess I changed my perspective as far as that goes, because I think after a while, you just think that that's not the type of job for you. You know what I mean? I'm grateful for the years that I spent there, but it's it was just collecting a paycheck. It was not really making a difference for me in my life, And I feel that I have a calling to make a difference in my life, especially because I have a yod, which is the finger of God, and I was not doing the finger of God working as a casual longshoreman for like a decade. And so, but I learned a lot. I learned about leadership. I learned to be more stronger. I think that's where everything started, and I believe that's why I was chosen to work out there. Um, instead of my siblings, because I needed to be strong for what was coming ahead. So it was just a stepping stone to prepare myself for what was coming ahead, which was going to be something very strong. And I knew that it was going to be something strong because it was revealed to me in a prophetic dream. So God already had told me something big is coming. And you got to prepare, and you got to strategize, and it's going to be huge. It's going to be something really big. And it has, you know, it has. But it's over, like I say it's over, there's nothing continuing. There's no more. It's just, it's over. And so, and it's in God's hands, and God takes over. And it's over because I say it's over. That's it. The Lord says it's over too, and but it's in His hands. I released it to Him. You take over now. I'm done. I feel like I've done what I've had to do, and all I got to do is just reap now. And whenever the Lord feels it's time to reap and benefits out of everything I had to go through, kind of like Job, double for his trouble, then I don't know what the Lord has for me. That's the thing. I just don't know. But I trust in Him that whatever comes is what He wanted for my life, because I have a lot of things to do. I have a lot of ideas, and a lot of people to help. And so that is my calling. That's my finger of God. But I can't do it if I don't have the money to do it or the resources and stuff like that. So, yeah. So, I don't know why I led to that, but speaking here of the chart here, with this new beginning in Virgo, it's a great time for you to think about what new beginnings you want in your community, in your life, in your health, because Virgo rules the sixth house of health, of pets, of your work area, right? And so, do you want to change the career you're in? Do you want to go into a different type of career? Do you want to do something else? Do you want to do something in your community that's going to start this fresh new beginnings? You know, what kind of new things do you want to do? And so, the third house also rules siblings, and it rules vehicles as well. So some people may get a new car. Some people might sell their cars. Some people um, um, might communicate with their siblings. Maybe they haven't talked to them for a while, or work with their siblings. Something brand new, something to do with families. So families plays a big part in this new moon on Saturday, right? Which is ruled by Saturn. That's why they call it Saturn Day. So the challenge here, like I said, is Mars in Gemini. So Mars in Gemini is about movement. It is about driving. It is about car accidents as well. So you have to watch out. And today I had posted that I seen this man that was riding a bicycle and he fell, right? Right in front of my face. I was like, oh my gosh, but not too close, but he was pretty close. And I was like, and I was like, he fell, right? And he hit himself hard in the cement. And he was, I think he had some bags, some grocery bags in his bicycle, and he fell. And I was like, holy smokes, right? So I'm like, are you okay? And he's like, yeah, I'm fine. And some cars stopped and wanted to help him, and they were, being helpful. And it was good to see that people were being helpful to him. And people were willing to stop and park their car and see if he's okay and everything. And he was a Hispanic man, and I was like, he hit himself hard in the cement. And then I thought to myself, after that ordeal, and I started walking home, and I said, I wonder what is that? Like what planet does that come from? And I knew automatically it was Mars in Gemini. because Mars is about accidents. Mars is about cuts and movement, right? It's about taking action, and it's about when you're in action. And so, in Gemini, it has to do with vehicles. It has to do with bikes, especially bikes. Bikes is a Gemini thing, the wheels and stuff, and it's about local movement. And I knew automatically it was Mars Gemini, and I was like, oh man, it's causing havoc right now, And so, but he was fine, like no bloody moment or nothing like that. It was, or no cuts. I don't think he got cuts. He didn't. He said he was fine, um, but he hit himself hard. I don't think he was that fine. It was just crazy, and then that happened, and I was like, okay, that's Mars. So there's a challenge here with the 12th house and the moon in the third house. Um, there's a square is a challenge. So there just might be some challenging moments between having to move forward in Gemini, in some things, but moving forward quietly, right? Um, and that's kind of hard to do because Gemini is like a chatterbox, and then Mars it's aggressiveness, right? But it is on the 12th house, so it's something about having to be quiet, having to be strategizing silently. Um, it and it's challenging here, the third house with the new beginnings. So there's something about new beginnings, communicating about your new beginnings, but knowing that you have to be quiet as well. You have to hold something back because you know as how you move forward with Mars and Gemini, right? It's the vehicle that you have of how to move forward. It could be a tool. It could be several tools. It could be astrology. It could be card readings. It could be um, the law of manifestation. It can be the Bible. It can be whatever tool you use that you can apply so you can move forward in a quiet way. 12th house also is ruled by Pisces, so it is a spiritual house, right? So it is also an occult house. So people might be, delving into magic and whatnot, lighting their candles or um, reading the Bible, whatever is your form of spirituality in order for you to move forward um, under this new moon in Virgo of new beginnings. Um, the thing about Virgo, it is about strategy, it is about planning, it is about having like a blueprint and stuff. It doesn't really rely in spirituality. Um, it relies more on methodical work, measurement, um, having to measure your work, having to um, just be very perfectionist about your work and stuff. It doesn't really rely on spirituality, but I feel that we need both. You know, not only do you need to be factual, but you also need to be spiritual, and and maybe that is a challenge. But the challenge here where I see is where Gemini wants to move forward, right? It's at the 4th degree as well of ancestors, of babies, of real estate, right? But doing it in a quiet way. Doing it in a quiet way. It kind of reminds me like if you're moving house and a lot of people move at midnight, if they don't want nobody to know. I know several people that have done that before, um, where they have moved, right? But they had a lot of trouble with the neighbors and whatnot, and they moved during midnight when everybody's asleep. So they would move all their belongings and by the time it's in the morning, nobody knew they were no longer there. So nobody knew that they had moved out. So that was their kind of strategy. 12th house also rules, you know, endings, and it also rules endings. So when it's in Mars, I don't like it when it's in Mars, Gemini, because it could rule car accidents that can end your life. So you got to be careful with driving that day, as it challenges the moon, as far as new beginnings, because we know that with new beginnings are also endings. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at here too with the 12th house. That's endings right there with driving, and with um, it could be even a bicycle. Maybe somebody can run someone over, or even walking. Whatever it is, some kind of ending there. Um, and it's military, it's aggression, it's war. Um, yeah, and so let's see what else we got there. It is making let's see, for um it is making a sextile as well. Yeah, I was looking at the chart here. It is making the Mars is making a sextile to which is an opportunity to Aries. Let me see if I can move this. I don't think I can. I think that, yeah, Aries and Jupiter. Okay, there we go. Aries and Jupiter at 7 degrees. So it is making an opportunity with Jupiter. So that's a good thing. Mars Jupiter sextile. That's about taking action. And Jupiter is in the 10th house of career. So in Aries. So that's a very great thing. Okay, there's opportunity with luck and abundance and prosperity, and how you take action that will land you with prosperity, and you know being courageous and not being held back. You know what I mean? But discerning how you take action. You got to strategize how you take action, and maybe that's why you have to be quiet. You know, it's kind of you kind of have to think about back in the Jesus days as well. I'm hitting back analogies to a lot of Bible things. I'm noticing that with patterns, but when he didn't want them to know that, he didn't want people to know that he heals. He had to be quiet about his strategy, and the apostles had told everybody that he heals, and it was already too late, and he got caught, and that's how everything started. But had they not said anything, who knows what would have been the outcome, right? Um, but he didn't want them to know that it was not the right time to tell them that he heals, because he was not supposed to be healing on the Sabbath day. So, because that day nobody works, but they were healing people that day. So that was another thing too. So I kind of see it like this here in the 12th house, where it's about having to be quiet, your strategy, in order to enter your prosperity, where there's milk and manna, where there's milk and honey, where there's, manna, where there's the promised land, right? Because we know Jupiter, it is luck, abundance, expansion, prosperity. Um, that's where money's at. It's in the 10th house of status and recognition and respect and honors, you know. And so, and that's a really great placement there. Okay. Um, so, but basically here, the new moon of in Virgo, the new beginnings in Virgo, um, it's pretty good. I mean, it's not something that like, oh my God, there's so much drama and all this. I don't see that. I don't see that at all. I see it pretty balanced. I see it, um, it is making a square to Gemini and Mars, and I don't know. It could be like more drama, more drama with Gemini, but the fact that it's in the 12th house is actually more quiet. It might be more drama with spirituality or something like that. Maybe between religion and politics or something. I don't know. Not so much politics, but I would say more religion. Um, Something to do with communication and maybe the challenge is that some people might be quiet and they want them to talk and stuff like that, like why are you not talking, why are you so quiet, why are you so silent, kind of stuff like that. But the fact of the matter is that Mars in Gemini is being quiet because it's strategizing with Jupiter, in the 10th house, because that's the only way it's probably going to get recognized, by having to be quiet and then getting the recognition. It's kind of like those people that say, don't make noise, don't announce anything, and don't make noise while you're working on something. Let your work speak for itself. So that's another thing too that I'm picking up between Mars and Jupiter, and then that new moon in Virgo, which is bringing challenges to Mars because it's being so quiet, right? And it, maybe Virgo, the new moon in Virgo, wants to know what's up with Gemini over there. Why is it being so quiet? What is it up to? What is it doing? I want to know what Mars and Gemini is doing. Kind of stuff like that. I know it sounds very dramatic, but this is the way I see it. So I'm going to cut this short because I don't really see anything that I would say. It's going to be 2 o'clock here in the morning, and I'm a little bit tired. I had a really busy day today, and it was hot, and I actually took a siesta in the daytime, which was great because I haven't really I didn't get good sleep. With this Uranus that it's in retrograde right now, it's very hard for a lot of people to go to sleep, especially me right now. But I am like so ready to hit the hay, because yeah. But I wanted to do this video just to share. It's gonna be in 2 days. Well, it's already Friday, so it's gonna be on the 27th. So I want to share this video just to let some people know what's going on and so forth. Nothing too fireworky, like fireworks and dramatic and stuff like that. It can get a little bit dramatic with the Mars in Gemini, but it all depends how Mars in Gemini strategizes. So anyway, I hope everybody is doing great and they're having a really great day and a great week. I will catch you guys on the next video. Bye.